How you doing, AJ?
Doing good. How about yourself?
I'm all right. Good to see you today again. So, I got a list for you.
Sure.
This is primarily NES and then maybe some console things too. I'll give you that. Okay, so I went to AJ's looking for some Nintendo 64 games to buy and ended up asking him about his journey as a collector. What got you interested in games, or when did you start? What do you do?
I've been a collector since I was my son's size, which is 6 years old now.
Okay.
I've always just been collecting stuff. That's like when the N64 came out and stuff.
Right.
I've collected, and then when my wife and I started having kids, we got more on the idea that I just stay home with the kids. So as I did that, we lost the income from my job. So I started buying and reselling a little bit to continue collecting and also it supplements some income.
Excellent. Nintendo 64 was your first system or your first console that you played on?
It's the one I remember the most growing up. The first thing I played on was the NES. So my mom and dad had an NES. They primarily got it actually when my mom was pregnant with my older sister.
Okay.
So they got that, and then as we started to get older, I got into that a lot, playing original Mario Bros, the Mario Bros and Duck Hunt. That was the first thing I really got into.
That's like how my brother and I got started. It was on my dad's Atari.
Okay.
And so then they bought us a Nintendo, Christmas of '89. And then it came with Mario Duck Hunt, and we basically used our allowance to buy all the games. So that's how we got started, was we showed interest in the Atari, and he's like, okay, so, and it went from there. And then I stopped playing around Nintendo 64 time.
Okay.
And so the games I'm getting from you today are really the ones like my brother had sold. He has the boxes, but he sold them to a buddy. And I was like, well, shoot, because the boxes are empty, so I want to like replace those, replenish, whatever, however you want to say it, and keep the collection going from there. So why are you partying with these games?
These are double duplicates pretty much for me.
Okay.
If it's something that I'm selling, it's either something I don't care about anymore or that I've got duplicates in my personal collection already.
Okay.
So GoldenEye and Cruising World, I've got more of those copies.
Now you have a third game. What is this?
That is also another 007 GoldenEye if you wanted a labelless one. But since I know you're looking for in-box and stuff, I'm guessing you'd prefer the better condition
I would prefer the better condition. Yeah, the labels are in-box.
Some people do something to save $5. They don't care what it looks like. But yeah, I expect if you're looking for complete in-box stuff, you'll like the one with the nice label.
Have you come across anything unusual in your search for games or you're collecting? Anything just out of the ordinary or surprised you?
Nothing super crazy. The one that sticks out in my head is, I don't know if you're familiar with Steel Battalion. So that was the original Xbox. It was a mech fighting game, but like the controller was a 3-console. You have to connect it together like full-on mech fighter, and had pedal system to it. So that all connecting together. It came in like, it looked like a military box it comes in. It's huge. And that was probably the coolest thing I've come across. It was at a small hole-in-the-wall card shop that had it. And they just had an Xbox and that, and they were just had it out for people to play. So I asked, is that up for trade or sale? And they said, we look at stuff you got. So I ended up trading a stack of Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Magic cards about that big. There was some good stuff in there, but it wasn't anything I cared about at the time.
Yeah.
I had Nintendo Power, was a subscription I had for years and years and years. And then when I graduated high school and getting out of college, they all got thrown in a recycling bin. Now I'm starting to collect a few key issues that I remember a lot with certain labels and certain covers I really like. But gosh, I had dozens of them. I had several years collected.
We had our basement flooded and we had some that got wet, so I have maybe a dozen of the early ones. Like when I say issue like 12 to 24 probably got wet.
Wow.
And so, and then after that, they're fine. And I mean, a few of them are wear and tear, you know, and my brother and I, we cut the posters out and put them on our clubhouse, clubhouse above the garage. But other than that, I mean, they're in good condition, and I've looked at issue number 1 and it was like over $2,000, but this one sent me back just $45 at eBay. So
I had somewhere in the mid-100 area up through when they finished.
Nice.
So I had all those, and then they just eventually one day got tossed to recycling. You think about like old Sports Illustrateds and stuff like that. You didn't think anything of it. They're not going to have value at any point.
Right.
They just got tossed.
Well, it happens, and you know, hindsight's 20/20 with that stuff, and we wish we would have kept it. But I guess that's why we collect and we search and have fun doing it.
Yep, absolutely. You find them all again, right?
Yeah, find them all again. Do you have any tips for anyone else looking to preserve, collect, play retro games?
Always be looking. You got to be looking all the time.
Perfect.
I mean, you can find them garage sailing, if you can find them at flea markets, different places like that. Those are your best bets to find them at reasonable prices. Going online, you can find anything. You can go jump on eBay, find a copy of just about anything at any time, but you're going to be paying a lot more for it. So if you're if money's not an option, hit up online. You can find pretty much everything. But if you're trying to do it on a decent budget, save some money, just hit those garage sales and flea markets and stuff like that.
Any red flags as far as collecting or using like online
for retro games, especially just counterfeit stuff.
Counterfeit, okay.
Look around, know how to tell one of these cartridges is fake or not.
Do your research, basically your homework.
You do some research. There's a few telltale things like different imprints on the labels or different the shape of the Nintendo logo, things like that can give a little bit of.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man.
Good seeing you. I'll take this out of here.
Sounds good, and we'll be in touch.
Yeah, we will be.